Hello, everybody. It's me again, Pacific, coming to you from Lakewood, Colorado. Wow. I'm going along minding my own business yesterday. I had to do some tree removal for a customer yesterday and today, and this morning I wake up and turn on my internet and I see that somebody shot off their mouth again in the political arena. Congratulations, Hillary Rosen. My hat is off to you for inserting both feet in your open mouth. Nice job. The reason I'm taking you on, Hillary Rosen, is very simple. This video is dedicated to all of the working mothers in America and around the globe that take the time to raise their kids and stay home and are full-time domestic helpers, homemakers, meal cookers, laundry specialists, psychologists, counselors, doctors, nurses, everything. Hillary Rosen, for you to make a comment saying regarding Mitt Romney's wife, well, she never worked a day in her life. Let's start with some facts. Let's start with some very, very obvious facts. When America, years ago, when women stayed at home and raised their children, statistically, the kids did better on their grades, did better relationally, there was less sexual escapades than there are today, less criminal behavior than there is today, less drug use than there is today, less violent crime and theft and carjacking and punk and gang behavior. Should I go on? Drinking, smoking, you name it. Now, the things I just mentioned, there are always exceptions. Some kids could be raised in a perfect environment, still turn out making poor choices. But for those parents that choose to stay at home and raise their kids with love, proper discipline, and guide them in the right direction, wow, those kids don't go out and cause trouble in society by and large. For Hillary Rosen to say that Mitt Romney's wife never worked a day in her life, she either A, did not have kids, or if she did, threw them in daycare, or she didn't care. Now, I don't know Hillary Rosen's story. I don't have a clue. Maybe she worked and raised her kids. I don't know. But what I can say is that for those that stay home and raise their children and try their best, it is a full-time, 24-hour a day, 7-day a week, 365 days out of the year, full-time job. Let me tell you my story, Hillary Rosen, because this is truth. I'm a 46-year-old man, and I have traveled the world and I've done things and I've lived here and I've lived there, and I just got back a month ago from China. It's pretty disgusting when politics has lowered itself in our country to constant mudslinging back and forth, and to see how below the belt, in fact, kicking people in the groin, we can get with comments. Instead of somebody standing up and saying what they will do for America, it's all about who can come up with the biggest put down that can cause the loudest laughter and generate the most forwarded emails around the country. Ha ha ha, look at the Democrats. Ha ha ha, look at the Republicans. Politics stinks. I'm not going to make a political statement today. I was tempted. I won't even be sucked into the whirlpool. But when I was married for 14 years, and during the course of that 14 years, we had a son. My then wife stayed home for 18 months. She quit her full-time job. I had a full-time job, and I was working. And because of the place I was working, we had comprehensive medical benefits for all three of us, my son, my then wife, and I. And after 18 months, my wife came to me and said that she had an opportunity to go up into mid-level career management. And she asked if I would quit my job and stay home. My first thought was, you got to be kidding. A man staying home to raise the kid? That ain't right. My male coworkers will laugh at me. Women will laugh at me. No deal. 7 months went by. Things changed at the workplace that I was working at. They cut benefits. Looked like we were losing one of the truck franchises. We were a truck dealership. And I thought, boy, maybe something's going on. So I decided to give it a try. And at her request, I came home, and I did it for 6 years. Let me tell you something. Between cooking and cleaning, and yes, I'm a man, and my house is very spotless. In fact, let me quote the others. Women that came over to my home would say, my gosh, you can eat off this guy's toilet seat. Your husband keeps a better house than I do. Your husband's truck is cleaner than the inside of my car. Your child is very well mannered. I was responsible for potty training my kid. That was like climbing Mount Everest. I was terrified of it. I thought I was going to have trouble. And you know what? I came up with a system and it worked. My son is now 12 years old. He respects me. He has never once mouthed off to me. I refinished antique furniture. I went garage sailing and thrift storing, bought stuff, had collections, sold stuff. I did some part-time jobs, did some landscaping for somebody. But the home part, let me tell you what, ladies, it is easier to go to work every day than it is to stay home and raise children. I did it. The rewards have paid off. We have since divorced, unfortunately, and that was years ago. But my son and I are still tight and still close. My message to Hillary Rosen is, work is work is work, whether you're paid a salary or whether you're not. I know people who do services for others, and it's not a job, quote unquote, where they're getting a W-2 form or cash, but they're doing work trade. For anybody to make an unwise statement that a woman's never worked a day in her life because she stayed home and took care of the home is absolute ignorant to the highest degree. Being a full-time parent, for male or female, is hard. Some of us men are not cut out for it. I did it, and it was tough for me. It was tough because I don't have the patience that a lot of women have for their kids. I didn't abuse my son, but there were times I thought, my gosh, I'd rather get a job. You know, I got involved with moms clubs and moms groups and had play dates. They opened it up and allowed stay-at-home dads to join, and we got into a groove, went to the museum and the Denver Zoo, went up to Dinosaur Ridge, and we did stuff. But I'll tell you what, it's work. Between doing the laundry, mealtime, meal preparation, trying to model right behavior for your kid, because let me tell you, when you're living with your child, they know who you are. And all of a sudden, this heavy thing is put on you that, ooh, everything I say, everything I do, everything I watch, and everything I listen to, that little guy is going to pick up on it. I'll tell you what, it tightened up my moral character big time. And it was a full-time job. The statistics are out there. The kids that are not raised by their mother, and women that choose to, especially women that choose to go have a career when their husband's making good money or when they don't need to, the kids suffer. Now, there's a lot of women out there, they have no choice but to go to a job. My hat is off to you ladies. This video is not for condemnation for those that have to work and cannot stay home with their children. You're doing the best you can. But for all the mothers in America of all ethnicities that are able to and choose to raise their children, I salute you. America it has the potential of being a better place when it's done that way than when we have a bunch of career women whose husbands make good money and they make good money and they sacrifice the kids on the altar of materialism, convenience for themselves, or whatever. I'm glad I stayed home for 6 years with my son. Yeah, it's been tough. It was tough when I went back into the workforce and tried to get work. Well, how come you got all these gaps? I was a stay-at-home dad. I remember one day, a man in Duluth, Minnesota, who I knew at a bus company I worked at, oh, you get to play all day. I said, no, that's not what it is. Oh, you didn't do nothing. He said the same thing. You know what's sad? And I'm not going to get into where he went down the road. But most people out there, they're ignorant. I remember a time when I was growing up, and I would hear men unwisely say, "Well, honey, all you did was stay at home all day." The look in the woman's eyes that heard that comment could have killed. Cleaning and cooking and babysitting. I don't know too many men that can stay home all day with their daughter or son. They would go nuts. They would pull out their hair. And rather than being long-winded, I want to make this a short video, and I want to jump into the fray, not because I want attention, but because Pacific cannot keep his mouth shut about controversy, and I try to stay out of the political sphere, but this stuff just ticks me off. I was very encouraged to see an African-American woman on the news stand up and say, that just ain't right what she said. And she's trying to raise 4 kids. So, good job there, Hillary. You managed to step on all ethnicities, all females, and a lot of men, and you managed to offend both parties, not just the Republican side. I really wish that politics would clean up its act. And I'd like to see all candidates, Democrat and Republican, start saying what they're going to do and refuse to put down their opponent. Refuse to enter the mudslinging pit. I wonder what would happen, but I doubt anybody's got the balls to do it. For all the women that stand up and take care of their children, keep going. That's what makes America strong. Because kids need families, not daycare centers. And kids need parents who love them and care for them. And sometimes circumstances are such when it becomes a single parent or whatever. You can still do the best you can. You still have to work, but you can still be there for your child. But for those that make a full-time career out of taking care of their kids, that is a career. Because the dividends may not be a 401k, and it may not be a big boat, but you'll be bringing another quality student, female or male, into society that may grow up to be a legislator, a lawmaker, a congressional person who actually does something to turn this country around in the right direction. Hillary Rosen, please sit down. I hope that you sincerely offer an apology. Excuse me, Colorado air is very dry, and I'm still getting used to high altitude. This is Pacific's commentary on it. Stay-at-home moms, keep doing your job. It is a job, and it is full-time, and you're working harder than those that go to 8 hours every day. Guaranteed. Have a nice day. This is Pacific signing off. Bye-bye.